For years, Jackson Hewitt has made tax filing available through its Walmart locations, and now with some improvements, it's offering some online tax software so that you can do your taxes from home. But truth be told, this is a pass for us. We're going to tell you why in this complete video review and walkthrough of the Jackson Hewitt tax software. Hey guys, welcome back to the College Investor, Investing and Personal Finance for Millennials. If you are getting ready to file your 2019 taxes in 2020 and you're considering Jackson Hewitt, then you might be familiar with their ability to do your taxes via Walmart. You can also sign up for this Tax Pro from Home initiative that they have. They actually have several options for filing your taxes, but in this video, we're going to exclusively focus on filing your taxes online using their tax software. Let's go ahead and talk about their pricing. Okay, so there's three versions when it comes to their price points. There's the basic, deluxe, and premier. If you have income up to $100,000, and you don't have any children, then you could file your taxes for free using Jackson Hewitt. Now, any student loan interest that you may have earned or any dependents earned income tax credit, that'll bump you up to the deluxe edition, which is gonna run you around $67 total. It's $29.99 to file your federal return and then $36.99 to file your state return using the deluxe option. And then if you need to itemize, if you're a landlord, if you have any self-employment income, then you'll want to look at the premier option. The premier option is going to be $49.99 to file your federal return and $36.99 to file your state return. Okay, so those are the pricing options. Let's go ahead and jump into the tax software and I'll show you how it works.
So Jackson Hewitt has like 5 different options to file your taxes with them. In fact, on their website, it says you can file it in the office at Walmart. You can do the Tax Pro from Home version, or you can just do it online, which is interesting that they profile these 3 options, but then they don't actually highlight the online version. In fact, you have to go up here to log in and click on online filing first. So let's go ahead and sign up now. Go ahead and fill in your email address, username, and password, and I'll meet you inside of the dashboard. You should have been asked some security questions, and as I was going through this exercise, I noticed, and now that we're inside of the dashboard, this looks identical to LibertyTax and 1040.com. So between the 3, you're really getting the same software, the same interface. So in this case, you'd probably just want to go with the cheapest option. Let's go ahead and begin. You're going to fill out your tax profiler information. I'm going to show you what the single version looks like with a W-2. And again, they're going to ask you if you want to add your state return. In most cases, this is included. So yes, I'm going to add it and then click Save. And then let's go ahead and jump into federal taxes. This dashboard is pretty bare bones. Inside of the federal tax portion, you're going to hit up these different sections: income, dependents, deductions and credits, healthcare, other tax situations, then review, and then go into your state return. If ever you need any help, you're going to click on this help option here up in the top menu, and then this is all that they have. In fact, this looks even more bare bones than what 1040 and Liberty Tax offered, because at least I had the option to email, and it looks like here I don't even have the option to email. So let's say you had some dividend interest or some interest from a bank, so that would be the 1099 dividend income. There it is. So add the form. And then if you had the 1099 DIV form, then you would click next and then start filling in that information. I'm going to click cancel back out of this. Let's go back to the federal taxes and get started. And then click on yes if you have a W-2. And then the thing here is there is no option to import your W-2. You're going to have to manually update and add this information yourself, which could leave room for error. I'll go ahead and fill this out. Okay, it did look like it caught an error where I didn't fill out what state and the state EIN number. So good news there is that if you do skip over something, it does flag it. So now that I've filled out my W-2, I don't have another one to add. You have two different options here. You can either click I'm finished with the income portion and then continue to the rest of the sections, or you can have Jackson Hewitt guide you through all of the sections by asking you questions. Also, one thing that wasn't easy to understand from the beginning is that each of these little breakdowns are the sections that they will guide you through. So if you've not filed your taxes before on your own, or you're kind of a noob to this, it would be helpful for them to just have a quick help guide or some sort of statement here that said, hey, these are the next questions we're going to ask you about with your income. If you have any of these, tell us about your interest and dividends. And so you can kind of do a quick run through of which of these sections you could potentially fill out. If you don't have any of these, then you can click finished with income and move on to the next section. So no, I don't have any dependents to claim. And then we move on to deductions and credits. So let's say you had student loan interest that you paid on. We'll go ahead and answer these questions. Okay, so here's the thing. I said that I had paid on student loans in 2019. Now they're asking how much of the interest I paid on that. You would get this from the Form 1098E. Nowhere on here in this tax software dashboard does it tell me that I get this number from the 1098E form. So if you haven't filed your taxes before, then I'd be confused as to where to get this information. If you have filed it, then you could just go ahead and type in, I paid $500 in interest. Click next, click save. And then you'll see your federal refund and your state refund potential amount up here in the top of the menu navigation. So let's move on. And what I like about that is that it stays sticky at the top of the screen, so I always see it at all times. And then you can see here, I've added that student loan adjustment, though it still doesn't tell me what form it's coming from. And then you can say finished with deductions and credits if you don't have to go through any of these other sections. Then we'll go into healthcare. And then other tax situations. Okay, the federal return is ready to file. You can click finished with federal, and then use that same information and apply it to your state return. So I'll go ahead and say add use tax information. I don't owe any use tax. Save. And then continue. And then what I do like about this is that you get to see what the preview of your return looks like, how those forms would actually be submitted to the IRS. So what they do is they create a PDF version, and then you can use that to review and then file. All right, so then it downloads as a PDF. Here's what it looks like. This is all the information that I filled out. And then you could kind of scroll through here and make sure everything looks okay. Obviously, you'll have to read between this watermark here. But going back, you'll click on File Now and continue filing. Click that button 3 times before you get to an upsell for the Audit Assist and ID Theft Restoration. This is the exact same stuff that you would see in 1040.com or Liberty Tax. Exact same information and the same price. So I'm going to click on No Thanks. Click Accept. And here we go. So it is $66.98 to file your taxes online with Jackson Hewitt. I did something very simple. I just had a W-2, I did student loan interest, and that's pretty much it. And that was $67. Now for the same tax software, you could get this same experience for $25 with 1040.com. So it's up to you. You can click on this e-collect where it's deducted from your refund, or you can click on credit or debit and then enter your payment information. And then you're done. And that's how you file your taxes with Jackson Hewitt.
For the 2020 tax season, Jackson Hewitt just falls short on our list of recommendations. In fact, we think this is a pass. The tax software is pretty much identical to 1040.com and Liberty Tax, and yet Jackson Hewitt is charging a lot more if you have more than just that earned income tax credit. In fact, that is part of the deluxe option. They're going to charge you like $67 to file just a simple, what I would consider simple and normal tax filing situations. You'd be much better off using something like Free Tax USA or TaxSlayer if you want something middle of the road. Even better option would be to go with the free version with Credit Karma that has a better user interface. But if you want something premium with more bells and whistles, try looking at TurboTax or H&R Block. For this year, Jackson Hewitt just doesn't make the cut. For more tax software reviews, be sure to visit thecollegeinvestor.com.